Another item to check is in the compartment with the hydraulic pump. On the sidewall is a 100 amp breaker. If it's tripped, reset it. When you want to retract the jacks, same procedure. Again, ignition is on and that parking brake is set. Then press auto retract. Again, you can manually retract the jacks one at a time or in pairs. The system will signal they are up. You can always go out and double check. If it's all clear, you are ready to roll. From your bedroom to your dining and living areas, your slide rooms add a lot of space to your motorhome, and creating that extra space is as simple as pressing a button.
Before you put the slide room out, make sure you have enough space outside to fully extend the room or rooms. If not, move to a more spacious location. Make sure your motorhome is level. With the parking brake on and ignition off, you're set to put out the rooms. Press the button to extend. After the room is extended, hold the button down until you hear this noise. That's the sound of the Schwintek motors syncing up, so they're ready when it's time to put the room in. When you are ready to put the room in, go through the same steps. Check the areas inside and outside the room for people, pets, and obstructions. Make sure the parking brake is set and the ignition is off. For slide outs located behind the driver and passenger seats, make sure the seats are upright and moved forward so they do not get damaged. Also, check the floor in front of the slide room. You want a clean, clear path. Now, press the retract button. Hold it down until the slide is in. Wait for it. That's the noise you want to hear.
So what if your drive motors get out of whack? This is a real easy fix. The first thing you're going to do is bring the room all the way in. Hold that button down another 3 to 5 seconds. Now, put the room out a touch, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. Then bring the room all the way in, again, holding the button down an extra 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to do this procedure 3 times. On the 4th time, extend the room fully. Holding that button down an extra 3 to 5 seconds, you want to listen for that noise. Now, bring the room all the way in. Holding the switch another 3 to 5 seconds, and you should be synced back up and ready to slide. Before you hit the road for the first time, you need to figure out what powers this baby. Do you need a 30 amp or 50 amp service connection? Let's take a look and see how your motorhome is wired. You're going to find the electrical cord connection on the driver's side of the motorhome. Some models will have permanently attached cords, while others offer a detachable marine-style cord. If the cord is permanent, it should be located in a storage area near the rear of the motorhome. Once you find it, go ahead and pull the cord out of the box, find the access port to feed the wire down to the ground, pull the cord down and through the port over to the electrical connection. Detachable cords may have a connection on the sidewall of the motorhome or in a basement compartment. To attach the cord, match up the prongs on the cord to the slots in the motorhome connection, push in and twist, then tighten the security collar. This way it prevents accidental disconnect and it keeps it watertight. On these detachable cords, you are not tied down to one place when it's time to pack up. You can store it in any compartment you want. When you go to get them out, they may be tangled together. They can slide around, and if you didn't wind them nicely last time, they may give you trouble. So here's a trick I use. There is not a cable out there that can resist the sounds of adult contemporary music. Now that the cables are out, you need to determine whether or not it is a 30 amp or a 50 amp cable. And Tom here, who is normally on the other side of the camera, says he has a real easy way to tell them apart.
I sure do.
What is this?
Our prongs of 3, 30 amps they be. Prongs of 4, 50 amps be more.
Prongs of 3? Pirates didn't have electricity.
How do you think they came up with the term shore power?
Yeah, but it doesn't...
Arr!
Real easy to identify the differences between a 30 amp and 50 amp cord. The 30 amp cord is smaller and has 3 prongs. The 50 amp cord, this is a big boy. It has 4 prongs. Look at your campsite hookup, see what it offers. You may need an adapter to plug your 30 amp cord into a 50 amp plug. Take note, it will not change your amperage. Your coach is wired the way it's wired. In this case, the 50 amp service will provide more than enough power to run everything in your motorhome. You will need a reducer if you want to plug your 50 amp cord into a 30 amp outlet. You are reducing the amperage running into your coach from 50 to 30. If reducing from 50 to 30, keep in mind not all of the power needs for the coach can be met. There are even reducers that can take a 50 amp motorhome and allow it to be plugged into a regular old 15 amp plug at your home. While not a lot of things are going to work in the motorhome with only 15 amps, it is a great way to run a few lights and get that refrigerator started cooling if it's the first trip of the season and that fridge hasn't been run in a while. Before you plug in, or out for that matter, make sure the breakers are off. Then plug into the box. Hey Tom, here where we need to talk about what you can run off 30 amp service. I think we're going to have to cut your scene. Where did he go? Whoa, what is going on? What are you doing?
Getting ready for my big 30 amp scene.
Well, we're going to have to cut it.
Why?
Never mind, we'll put it back in. So here's your don't be like Tom takeaway. With 30 amp service, you cannot run everything in your coach, or you may trip a breaker, so you're going to have to be selective. With 50 amp service, you're pretty much safe to run anything you want. When it's time to pack it in and unplug, turn those breakers off first, then disconnect your cables. Then simply wind them up and store them until the next time you need them.
All right, I am ready for my big scene. What?
Camping can be a swell time. Fishing, stories around the campfire, and s'mores.
Whoa, slow down there, Tommy. It's not playtime yet. You need to set up camp first.
Oh, shucks, mister.
When pulling into your campsite, use those peepers. Look for low-hanging branches and electric lines. You need space for your slide rooms and doors so they can open with enough clearance. See where your hookups are, so pull in the right way. Wrong way, Tommy. You want to make sure your hookups are on the side where you need them and within reach. Make sure you have the proper cords and adapters so you can hook up to shore power. That's aces, Tommy. Now's a good time to walk around and see how level your campsite is. You'll want to make sure everything is even Steven. Also, make sure the ground you're setting up on is solid. If it's wet, soft, or muddy, do you know what to do, Tommy?
I don't know, mister.
Don't be such a square, Tommy. Use wooden squares to disperse the weight.
Now you're on the trolley. If you towed another vehicle, now's the time to unhitch. Chock those wheels. Now go ahead and level that motorhome. Looking spiffy, Tommy. Next, you're going to want to put out your slide rooms. Make sure nothing or no one is in the way. This is where Rapid Camp is the bee's knees. Go ahead and make your other connections and turn on your propane. All this setup may be making you thirsty.
Whoa, don't drink out of that hose, Tommy. You don't know where it's been. You want a hose like this that's designed for fresh drinking water.
Oh boy.
Now let's get that hooked up so we can get you a cold, proper drink from the icebox. I need to be on the level, Tommy. This next job can be a drag, but I need you to check the handles on the termination tanks. Make sure they stay closed until you need to dump them.
Attaboy, Tommy.
Almost playtime, Tommy, but we're not done yet. Items in the drawers and cabinets may get jostled around during the trip, so be careful opening them.
No, be careful opening that, Tommy. Proper setup makes the entire trip some more fun for everyone. Right, Tommy?
Sure does, mister.
All right, don't move.
How long do we have to hold this?
Just until the disclaimer. Road tripping is a good time. Friends and family making memories, right? But there is one event from your trip you try to erase from your memory: flushing the tanks. You have to do it. And if you follow these steps, it'll be over before you know it, and you won't have to say, "Ew, that's nasty." First, open your wet bay. Here you have your black and gray tanks and all the valves you need to get the job done. Now here's what you need: a 3-inch sewer hose and a fresh water hose. I always like to make sure the valves are closed, so before you start, go ahead and give them a quick check. Twist off the cover so you can run your hose up. This twistable valve is handy for a few reasons. You can move it into place, making it easier to connect that line. Take the cover off the valve, run your sewer hose up, and connect it. Now it's time to pull the handles, in this order: black first. An easy way to remember this order is, if it's in the black, send it back. Move on to gray, you're gonna be okay. This black tank is where everything flushed down the toilet is hanging out, and I mean everything. Ew, that's nasty. Now you wanna make sure the tank is 3/4 full. This way there's enough water to flush it out. In some cases, that may mean you need to add a little water to get it to 3/4 full. Just flush the toilet until you reach that mark. You can also flush the black tank. The hook up here, it says Santee Flush. Put a garden hose on this one, not your drinking water hose. I don't think I have to tell you why. Flushing the black tank ensures nothing is hanging around that shouldn't be. The gray handle is next. Give her a pull. Now the gray tank holds all the water from your sinks and showers. By pulling this last, the water flushes out the hose following the black tank. When you're ready to pack up, opposite order. Close the gray tank first, then the black tank. Twist off the sewer hose, and yep, this is just as much fun as it sounds. Put the cap back on and tilt the valve up. This will stop any nasty leaks and drips. So when you are putting this cap on, make sure it is tight. We're gonna play a little game for this one, a little multiple choice for you, all right? If this cap is not tight and there are leaks and drips, the next time you open this wet bay, you're gonna say, A, yay, this is my favorite part of the trip. B, smells like Christmas in here. Or C, ew, that's nasty. Screw the porthole cover back in place. And as much as you want to be done, not yet. The last step is to clean the sewer hose before you put it away. You can use a hose or the exterior shower for this. A few other items to note: if you have the opportunity to dump the tanks before a trip, do it, as it reduces their gross weight with the emphasis on gross. Also, make sure there's enough water inside to cover the bottom of the tank. This will prevent anything left hanging around from hardening. A couple of other tips. You may want to wear some gloves while doing this, preferably disposable. Also keep a rag and some cleaner on hand. That way you can clean up any messes and catch anything that may have tried to escape. Now that you know how to do the deed, make the most of it. Follow these simple steps and you won't have to say, "Ew, that's nasty." Awnings are great when you want protection from the elements, a little shade, or even to cut down on the glare on your TV. But let's say that sun is just in the right position where it's blinding you, or maybe it's creating a lot of glare on the TV. These awnings are adjustable, but everything works a little differently and adjusts differently. So we are going to walk you through how all the awnings work.
Your coach is either equipped with a Carefree or Solera brand awning. We're going to start with the Solera. Press the button, put your awning in or out. To adjust the pitch for more shade or to change the side the water runs off, simply hold down on the arm of the side you want to adjust. You can put your awning in without resetting the pitch. Moving to your Carefree awnings, once you have it retracted, there are a few different styles of adjustment. This particular style has 6 pitch settings. To set a lower pitch, simply grab the awning here at the hinge and gently pull it in. Now, push in both pins and slide the arm toward the coach. Slide it away to raise the pitch. As long as the adjustment pins on the left and right arms are not more than 3 positions different, it is safe to put the awning in. If the adjustment pins do have more than 3 hole separation, go out and even them up before bringing the awning in, otherwise you might damage it. This next style of Carefree awning is very similar. This too has 6 adjustment